Rock on Philly, and today I am here chatting with the amazing Erin Barra from New York City. Hello! So, Erin is this incredibly talented singer-songwriter, producer, and now you're the founder of Beats for Girls, right?
Yes. I'm a kind of a jack of many trades, I guess. Out of sheer necessity in the industry today. It's like, you can't just be a singer-songwriter anymore. You have to be everything for everybody, and this is just, the next step of that, I guess.
Cool. I can totally feel you on that. So, hence, Rock on Philly.
Okay.
But so how about we backtrack a little bit and talk about your music first for those who may not know your music or be familiar with it. So I have I started listening to you about 2012, I guess, around the Sundance time, but
it's come a long way since then, I guess.
Yeah, 2 years.
It's kind of hard to just sum up my sound, and it doesn't really compartmentalize particularly well, but at the very end of the day, it's singer-songwriter pop music, and I kind of color with a number of different genres, and I think the closest that anybody's ever come to really summing it up is a writer in DC called my music progressive electronic soul.
That's pretty accurate. Yeah.
It's like,
you got a lot of soul.
It's always had this undercurrent of urban something, but it's definitely not, R&B or soul music. It just has some of that, and I have come from a really instrumental background.
Piano. You studied piano at Berkeley, and
I did. I studied songwriting and piano there, so I have some skill sets there, and then I do a lot of work with software and hardware on stage, and some kind of technical aspects as well.
Yeah, and I think I saw you work with Ableton a bit, right?
Yeah, I'm a freelance product specialist for them, so talking about software a lot.
That is awesome. That is so cool. So who would you say your musical influences are?
I'd say number one would be Stevie Wonder. I kind of gravitate towards him because he has a lot of those same things, instrumental songwriting, very tech forward. He was on the forefront of synthesis and drum machines and music, and it's got an undertone of soul but isn't really genre specific,
He plays around a little bit, experiments a bit. Mm-hmm.
It could be, a reggae influenced song, or really saccharine pop ballad type of stuff. So I think that's probably my biggest inspiration. Of females, I was really inspired by Annie Lennox.
Ah, okay. I can see that.
Yeah, I love her.
So do you have any new music out right now that you want to talk about? Or
I'm going to be releasing the single off my next album in the beginning of April with some remixes. And then we're actually going to release the entire album via stems first. Huh. So we're going to give, everybody a chance to remix any song on the album they want. And then we'll choose maybe the top 10 and release a remixed version of the album as well as the original masters kind of at the same time.
Awesome. And what's the single called?
Dear John.
Dear John. So what is it about? Let me give us a little...
Well, a Dear John letter is, back in the day when people couldn't communicate via telephone and email, people used to write each other Dear John letters, which would be the Dear John, I'm about to break up with you.
Ah.
My grandfather passed away a few years ago, and I found one that a woman had written him while he was in World War II. He was overseas. And he had saved this breakup letter. And my ex-boyfriend also happened to be named John, so, I was ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, made the songwriting connection.
When art imitates life, that was an easy song to write because it was just pretty autobiographical.
I learned something new today. I didn't know that's what they did back in the day. There was like an official Dear John letter. All right, cool.
With you.
What's the vibe on the song, on the original track?
It's pretty straight ahead rock with some like punk and pop influences. I'll send you all the files so you can listen to everything.
I love my job. I love it. Oh my gosh. I still listen to music all day long and talk to cool people. All right. So now let's talk about Beats for Girls. Now this is the coolest thing. I've never heard of anyone doing this before. I mean, how in the heck? When did it start? How did you get inspired to start it? It's a really cool foundation idea.
Thank you. It was really just me putting one foot in front of the next. Being a woman in technology and audio, I just was given somewhat of a platform to be heard because there aren't so many of us. And, for better or for worse, people were paying attention to me because of it. So, I was like, if this is such an issue that people are interested in, conversating about, then I think that we should kind of champion more women to be, in the position that I'm currently in. Because I know that I'm not the only female producer out there, and we need to not only teach the younger generation, but then also shed light upon the fact that there are women doing this.
Right.
So when it came time to release my album, I just didn't want to do it. I didn't want to just put this music out into the ether and just have that kind of be like the anticlimactic culmination to this huge album making process. So, I decided to use it as a deliverable for a fundraising campaign. Like, I will do all this work with these people. I offered digital consultations, songwriting lessons, Ableton packages, and the music to people in order to donate to fund this program. And so we did it, and through the process of honestly just trying to reach people, we kind of came on the radar with the Lower East Side Girls Club.
Perfect.
Yeah, they were like, oh, this is so right up our alley. We would like to offer your program at our facility. And so they hired me on to, run Beats by Girls at the Lower East Side Girls Club. I'll give you a little.
Is this where we are now?
Yes.
This is so cool. I used to live right by you. I was on 4th and C.
Wow. Yeah, we're on Avenue D and 8th now.
Wow.
So yeah, you were right there.
Do you know Bikram Lower East Side?
No, I haven't been there.
They work a lot with Lower East Side for Girls. They do night sweats the first Friday of every month, and yeah, it's great. It's really fun. But all the money gets donated to Lower East. What is it called again?
The Lower East Side Girls Club.
Girls Club. Lower East Side Girls Club. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's cool. The classes have been in full swing for 2 months now.
Okay.
And we have all this amazing technology that was, donated largely. And now we're going to start offering the classes to a group of young mothers in the community and some high school kids as well. So it's expanding rapidly, kind of happening faster than I can really control it these days, which I guess is a good problem to have. So.
It's interesting. Have you noticed, do you think females approach production from a different... Do you think we can bring something new to production? And what do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, I have this theory that, I think it's a fact, that, scientifically, it is a proven fact that women hear better than men. Like, the cochlear part of our ears that perceive what's going on around us is like 30% larger in women than it is in men. And it's like, supposedly some evolutionary progression that, women being, protectors of the children, have been more aware of their surroundings just out of sheer, necessity. And so we've evolved to have better hearing. But also, I think that women have a completely different perspective on when they hear things. Like if you have the same conversation with a man and a woman, perhaps a man would hear the words that came out of somebody's mouth and that might be the extent of it. But a woman kind of You know, it's like, what's the undertone here? You know, you hear so much emotion and like intent, and those aren't things.
Emotional intelligence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just have a different perspective, and I think that, you know, translated into musical thoughts and expression, it's just like we have so much to add because we're emotionally evolved. Not despite the fact that, you know, our emotions in this case are our biggest asset, rather than usually in professional situations women get attacked
for being emotional. Yep.
So I think that it's going to even out. You know, there's so many more female doctors and lawyers and executives than there were 10, 15 years ago. That, you know, this is just another place where it's starting to become an issue, and I think it'll become audible.
Yeah. You know, it's going to be really interesting, you know, 10 years from now to hear music and to see, you know, hundreds of female producers out there making things happen. And I think it's really going to deliver something new to have that much female talent on the production side of things, because it is still pretty rare right now.
It is. It totally is. But less and less each day. And
yeah.
The more we talk about the issues and the more that, you know, young women see other women doing it, it just becomes, you know, like if there were 5 female Dr. Dre, Pharrell, Skrillex, you know, if there were female versions of those things, young women would just assume that it's something they could do. But, you know, right now they don't maybe know that.
Yeah. So, when you're producing a track, what is your process like?
Well, it really depends on whether or not I was involved in the writing side of things.
Okay.
So I try to go conceptual first. You know, like, why did we write this song? What is it about? And like, what can I do to support those concepts on the production side of things? So I tend to really try to involve the artist a lot of the time, so they're like emotionally more attached to the material. It's like, what are your ideas? What do you want to hear? And then I try to just, you know, take both of those sides, like the needs and wants of an artist and the needs and wants of a concept, and try to marry them together. Typically, you know, I come from a really instrumental background, so when I'm programming or playing something, I kind of always start with the kick drum and the bass, because I do believe that those are like the backbone and part of any, like, you know, any composition from the arrangement standpoint. So I start there, and then I continue to build, and I do a lot of, like, I don't step record any of my drums. I play them in, and it's really organic and electronic kind of at the same time.
Cool. You know, I have to say, I've noticed just in my own songwriting, the songs that get the most attention, I feel like, in any set are the more rhythmic ones. I feel like people really respond to rhythm, you know, more so than... I think it's shifted a bit, actually, like over the years, you know? Like we're more drum and bass heavy.
Yes, definitely. Rhythm has superseded melody in a lot of ways, you know, for better or for worse. I'm still melody first with the writing.
Yeah, go word, yeah. Yeah, I'm right there with you, sister. But I try to, like, do a little more rhythm with my... When I'm writing now, I try not to, like, only do my ballady singer-songwriter doodads on the guitar. I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's just listen to this beat and let's try something that way. You know?
People like to hear the upbeat stuff. Hardest to write, easiest to listen to.
Yes. Yes, very true. So what else is new in your world? Are you going to be touring soon? Are you playing shows?
You know, I kind of gave up performing. We're going to do an album release party, but things had just got really kind of technical in a literal sense. You know, it's like I have multiple synthesizers and 2 laptops.
Wow.
And it kind of became something larger than myself. And to put that on in any kind of traditional venue setting is difficult. So we've been focusing more on YouTube content, actually, and, you know, going into people's homes via the internet and performing that way, rather than really doing any live stuff. So they're live performances, but in studio.
Hey, you'll have to send us links to that. I can post some of them. with this too.
I kind of got like really beat down by performing for so many years, and I worked on tour for almost 2 straight years. And like the pressure it puts on an artist, you know, to promote for those shows,
right?
Prepared for those shows, and it really just like started making me learn to not love it anymore. So I just stopped.
Well, this is great because now you're performing still, but you know your audience has choice as to when they see you. They can go back and watch it again.
Yep.
It's you know it's made like immortal on the internet. So the performance.
Immortal.
Yeah. John Bon Jovi said that to me in an interview on the red carpet, and I've never let that go. He said as a songwriter, it really is the closest thing to immortality we're ever going to see. To use his exact words, but you know when you
time travel, you know,
hey,
all those esoteric, you know, existential ideas.
It like lives on, and you know I can go online right now and watch you perform. So instead of when you play at a venue, unless someone's filming, it kind of just that moment's gone.
It's true.
So
I don't know. You know, it's like turning all of the obstacles into opportunities. It's like, okay, if I don't want to perform in the venue with this type of pressure on myself, like how am I going to spin this so it becomes an asset? And you know, YouTube was, I guess, the answer for us in that arena.
That's great. I mean, being an artist these days, I feel like you really are being a CEO.
Yes.
Of yourself, you know, of your brand, of your music. You know, a lot of these conversations that we're having are, you know, conversations I have with business people, and it's a lot of the same stuff, turning obstacles into opportunities. I really like that.
That's the most difficult thing for most artists. It's like, you're right, you do have to have this business acumen in order to kind of get ahead, but separating something that's so personal to you, you know, like your art form, and then objectively looking at like how am I going to, or what am I going to do is really difficult for most creative people.
How did you come into that? I mean, how did you learn the business side of things? Did you just like tackle it as you went along, or
baptism by fire?
Okay.
I made a ton of mistakes, mistake after mistake. Had some really great victories, learned a lot, you know. I used to be way more personally attached to things, and kind of as I get older and I take things less personally now, so I can kind of like see it better. But yeah, it took me years really to wrap my head around the industry, if I even have yet.
Hey, I think what you're doing is so cool. I love all of it. So if people want to get involved with Beats for Girls, is there a website for it, or anything like that?
Beats by Girls. It's BEATS, and then it's girls with a Z.
Okay.
Girls. We have all sorts of cool videos to watch of the girls in the studio, and like a DJ camp and pictures. We're on Facebook and Twitter. I mean, that would be a really awesome way to get involved, is to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter, and you know, help spread the word. We're just trying to get more women in the know.
Are there any plans to maybe expand other cities eventually, or?
We're going to make the content, we're going to turn it into a web series. So it'll be, you know, MIDI programming, lessons 1 through 8, and then, you know, it'll just be available via YouTube. So anybody anywhere can really access the lesson plans and the software, and, you know, recreate the initiative in their own communities if they wanted to. But eventually, yeah, I've had, I mean, once we started, I've had everyone from the J Dilla Foundation to like the Grammys.
I was just gonna say the Grammys would be a good fit for that because they have such a great network.
Right.
I know Philly could really benefit from, you know, production training, especially for girls. Because I feel like we're still, you know, I don't think I met one female producer here, but she was from New York. So
it's a lot of LA too, a lot of, you know, production activity. We're going to expand, but like I said, it's just kind of happening so fast that I'm trying to just keep a handle on it and make sure that the content is, you know, spot on, and it's gonna take some more time to develop. I mean, I just came up with the entire idea of it last October. And so we're like in full swing, giving classes at a facility already. So it was like this.
It's the universe. It's like, yeah, we like this idea. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Like when your sentiment is aligned with your action, some really powerful things can happen.
Isn't it crazy? It's all so simple. You know?
It is. Yeah.
So simple.
People like to make it complicated.
Yes, this is very true. But it looks like it's all working out, and I'm super inspired by it. I think, I keep talking about it like, oh my god, it's the coolest thing ever, but I really, sincerely think it's the coolest thing ever.
I'm like blushing over here.
Yeah. So what's next for you? Your album coming out, the singles coming out.
Yeah.
Let's see. You're not touring. You're going to be doing stuff on your YouTube page.
Yeah.
So we'll follow that and everything. What else is going on? What's your favorite? Do you live in the Lower East Side now?
No.
Okay.
I live almost out by Coney Island, actually.
Oh,
nice. Besides my career, I finished my album like last year. It's taken this long to kind of come to fruition. I'm just continuing to work on Beats by Girls, and then I freelance in New York, for Ableton is one of my larger clients, and then I have a lot of private people out here, like helping bands kind of integrate technology into their live stage setup. That's something a lot of people want to do right now, is get a laptop on stage with them. And then I'm producing another artist's record, which I co-wrote with her. She actually lives in Seattle, so we've been doing the sessions, everything from co-writing to like some production stuff via Google Hangout.
What?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It is. It's been a total experience, and I mean, right now I'm booked out as a personal human being. I am booked out until the end of August right now. So I'm just kind of like,
that's beautiful.
Feeling pretty good about that, and just trying to like do a good job and stay positive.
Hey, well, you're doing great work, and once you have that single, send it over, and we'll post it.
Yes.
We'll make it like track of the week or some steps. So,
I would love that.
Yay! Well, Erin, thank you so much for your time. I'm hoping to make it out to New York soon.
Come back and perform. What about you?
Help me?
We've been talking about me this whole time.
Well, I'm taking the writer's side of this, or the reporter's side. So, I'm going to South by for the first time.
Exciting.
Next week. And I was just going to go as a reporter for Rock on Philly, because it's my baby now. And but the promoter who invited me down was like, oh, by the way, you're performing too. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I better get my act together then. So it's going to be fun. I'm excited. Don't know what to expect. You've been to South by a few times, I think.
Yeah. Prepare your liver.
Oh my gosh. I'm such a lightweight now, Erin. It's so bad. The older I get.
There's an endless amount of free flowing alcohol at South by, and it's just like, even thinking about it makes me feel like I need to take a nap. I'm tired. I'm not ready.
I should start drinking this week then. That's what I'll do. Marathon training.
Caffeine and alcohol. You need like a delicate balance.
That would be a really fun YouTube video. The balance between, finding your zen South by.
Happy middle of caffeine and tacos. And like Lone Star beers.
We can do a yin and yang, but the yin and yang could be like caffeine and alcohol.
Beer. Yeah.
With like a burrito in each of the whole burrito.
Totally.
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I'm thinking soon I need to get back to New York. Probably post South by sometime in April. Yeah, we can hang out and maybe chat in person. And,
definitely. Grab coffee.
Yes. 9th Street.
Come see the Girls Club.
Yeah, definitely. 9th Street Espresso.
Okay, cool.
Have you been there?
I think I've seen it. It's in this area, right?
Yeah, it's on 9th Street off of Avenue C, and it's like crack. I mean, it's crack. It's so good.
How do you spell it? The cafe what?
Oh, 9th Street Espresso.
9th Street Espresso. Okay. Awesome.
So yeah, they're pretty good caffeine, like, you're like this the rest of the day. It's off. It's great. So. Anyway, I digress. That's what I do for these things. Like, we'll talk about unicorns. I mean, like, we'll just get off on these tangents.
I don't know how we got here, but
it's fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, Erin, thank you so much, and I will see you soon.
Yes.
And I'll, post all this wonderfulness. We should probably say bye to people in Philly.
Bye.
Bye, Rocco.
Yeah.
So,
the music. I'll send you an email with the music so you can hear it.
Perfect. Love it. Well, thank you so much for your time, and enjoy the rest of this beautiful, non-snowy day.
Likewise. Good to talk, Jen.
Okay, bye, lady.